to our channel. So we watched the premiere of Black Lightning yesterday. So today we're going to talk about what our thoughts were. Miko is going to tell you the backstory of Black Lightning, and then we're going to get into some predictions about what we think is going to happen this season.
Alright, so Jefferson Pierce is the main character. He is Black Lightning. Black Lightning basically grew up he grew up as a metahuman. He already kind of had his abilities growing up, but he never really used them. He ends up losing his father at a very young age, which is kind of like the DC hero mantra. Like every DC hero pretty much loses a parent at some point or another. But yeah, Jefferson Pierce loses his father at a very young age. Depending on the version you look at, in the comic books, his father's accidentally killed in a gang-related incident, but it is accidental. In the TV show, it looks like they're going a slightly different direction, where it looks like he was intentionally murdered by Tobias Whale, who is the main villain this season, it looks like. So after Jefferson loses his father, it's just him and his mother, and he is basically also raised by a man named Peter Gamby, who is another character that you see in the show, who is basically like a father figure to Jefferson after he loses his father. And so Jefferson grows up. He's this great student. He's this great athlete. He goes to the Olympics at like 18. Wins the Olympics. Gets a bunch of sponsorships. Goes off to college. Gets a bunch of degrees. And it's kind of like this larger than life type person, and eventually comes back home. And by the time he comes back home, he already has a wife. He has one daughter, Anessa, and he's really just trying to give back to his community. In the comic books, he grew up in a city called Suicide Slum, but probably for political reasons, they do not call it that in the CW show. They live in a Freedom Land or something like that.
I can't remember.
Something like that. And so, but he comes back. He becomes a principal, and he's trying to bring about change without his meta abilities. Sorry. And that's kind of the plan until, in the comic books, what happens is that he has a student that is murdered at his school. Like, a gang comes into his school, murders one of his students, and leaves the body like in the gymnasium.
What?
And that's the thing that it's a culture shock to him. Even though he's from this place, it's a culture shock to him. So he ends up having a talk with Peter Gamby, and Peter Gamby's like, look, you have the power to change things. And so that moment essentially is the thing that propels him into becoming Black Lightning. Black Lightning essentially is, as he says, he controls electricity. He controls lightning through his body, and he can manipulate and control it however he so chooses. But essentially, that is the start of Black Lightning. Now, where the show picks up is more so Jefferson Pierce hasn't been Black Lightning for 9 years.
Yeah.
So, and based off the little bit that we hear about the show in the first episode, he basically stopped being Black Lightning as a promise
to his ex-wife.
Yeah. Because she was just tired of him coming home, beaten, bloodied, full of bullet holes, and he's just like, she makes him promise to stop, and he makes that promise. He eventually breaks that promise, and then they end up getting a divorce, and he ends up making that promise, for real, because now you're a single father. Like, now he can't really afford to be, he has no,
to be a superhero.
Yeah, he has no backup, basically.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like how the first episode, that's some of the things that we see in the first episode. We get an introduction into him as a principal, him as a father, and the man playing Black Lightning / Jefferson Pierce is named Cress Williams, and I feel like I've seen him in other things.
I kept looking at this show, looking at him, thinking, where have I seen him? I don't Somebody tell me where I've seen him because he looks so familiar.
I'm sure
but I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, I can't place my finger on it, but I know I've seen him. Like he's
voice,
been
somewhere.
Everything about him seems very familiar.
Yeah.
But this is so from our childhood. Like we've probably only ever seen Black Lightning. Like maybe like I can probably count on one hand how many times I've seen Black Lightning in cartoons.
I've never seen it. Well, if I have, I don't remember.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because I think what a lot of us end up doing is we confuse Black Lightning with Static Shock. Like, that's the correlation because their powers are very similar.
Right.
The difference, obviously, is that Black Lightning is much older. And I think their powers are a little different, but they're very similar.
Right.
But as far as, like, the first episode, I mean, yeah, like I said, we're introduced to him as a principal. We're introduced to him as a father. We're introduced to his kids. Which is his oldest, which is Anessa Pierce, and who is portrayed by Nefessa Williams. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. And then China Ann McClain plays Jennifer Pierce. I know you were excited about seeing.
I was. I had no idea that she was gonna
China
be
McClain.
In this show. Yeah, I had no idea.
What is she from? Because obviously,
she's from everything. She's from The Descendants. She's from Daddy's Little Girls with her sisters.
Okay.
She's the sister of the girl that's in Empire, that's dating Andre.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's been in a lot of things, mostly Disney related. So I mean,
Right.
I'm sure all of you know her from the Disney Channel. Basically, and she had her own show on the Disney Channel. I just can't remember what it's called.
Okay, so but this is like her first like
big girl type thing.
I
yeah.
guess,
Yeah.
Okay. And you can kind of get that vibe from her character within the first episode. Like she's the wild child.
Right.
I guess I don't know about you. Like it gave me like I don't know. It kind of freaked me out because we have two girls. So like I kept watching it. Like, is this what our kids are gonna be like?
That's kind of foreshadowing for our future.
Anyways, but that was something that I liked about the show. Like it seems very grounded and realistic. Like you can take things that are happening in your life and very much apply it. It's very in tune. I would say with the world today. It's very in tune with where we are with civil rights and whatever fence you may stand on with the whole Black Lives Matter, police brutality, things like that. Like it's very much in tune with those things. I think this is one of the few shows there's not just like a right and wrong. There's not a clear line of right and wrong. Like we obviously know that the police are supposed to be right, but just from some of the things that we see in the first episode, like you can tell why there's a lot of distrust amongst the police. For example, like Jefferson Pierce has his own little run-in with the police, like within like the first 5 minutes, you would say, of the episode.
What? The first 5 minutes?
I mean, it's pretty early in the episode.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty early.
It's pretty early in the episode where he has his own run-in with the police, and you see this form of injustice that he has to go through, and it's like, and this is a man that's a principal. He's like, got a tux on. He looks like an upstanding citizen, but yet he is treated, and it's very much implied that it's because of the color of his skin.
Right.
And so that, I mean, for me was very much like very eye-opening. Like I said, I've only seen that portrayed in a TV show, or at least a superhero show, in one other superhero show, and that was Luke Cage. And even Luke Cage, it's a different vibe. Like Jefferson Pierce represents what I'm portraying, or at least what I was able to see within the first episode. Like he portrays this upstanding African American male that has succeeded in life. So that was something that really stood out for me in the show.
I'm just gonna be honest. I wasn't as into the show as I wanted to be. I mean, I like the bones of it, but I don't know. It's kind of on the level of Legends of Tomorrow. For me, it's not like Flash, So it's like, I don't know. I want to like it so bad because, well, we'll talk about this later, but I want it to lead into maybe Static Shock coming. It's kind of just, Like, it's not bad, but it's not, like, amazing. It's just, like...
I think
good. I mean, it's a good show, but it's not something I'm getting excited about. Like, if I miss a few episodes, I'm not gonna be upset.
See, I've been excited about the show since the trailer dropped for it. Like, since, like, the news first came out that they were doing the show. Because, I mean, in all honesty, like, it's not, you don't see this done often.
Which is why I really, 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 really want to like it.
So when I sat there and watched it, I mean, I was hooked. From beginning to end, I was heavily invested. I like the tone. I like I said, I love the fact that it's so aware of social issues nowadays. And it doesn't feel forced. It just feels like this is very natural. Like, this is something that the African American community is experiencing today. Jefferson Pierce is a successful principal who, from all accounts, like, he's having an impact on the community. He's graduating, African American students at a very high rate. Like, the moment that they had at the banquet, and he has his little quote or whatever, and the kids recited back to him, like, word for word. Like, it was just something about it that's like, man, that's
spoiling this whole episode for
I mean, if you haven't watched it by now, like, go back and watch it.
It's like thinking about it.
But I mean, that was powerful. And so, like, like I said, Jefferson Pierce is successful. His daughter Anessa is successful. Like, they don't really show what she's doing, but they mention it. Like, she's gone to medical school,
right?
And she's teaching. Like, it's just like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just this. It's not just like, oh, here's a black superhero that's gonna clean up the hood. Like, no, here's a superhero and a man who is trying to navigate this line of, I have to be a superhero, but I also have to be a father, and I have to still set this good example, even when the public is maybe not as for his alter ego. That, like, just really got me. Like, that had me hooked on the show. And then, just, the things with his ex-wife. Like, I think there's plenty of stuff. I mean, we're gonna talk about this in a minute. I think there's plenty of things going on in the show. That, like, you're just, like, I can't wait for the next episode, because I just know that there's so much more backstory. There's so much more that we have to figure out. There's so much more that's going to happen. And there's a bunch of stuff that's probably already happened. Like, we have a 9-year gap that they can pretty much, like, almost Arrow, like.
I was about to say, yeah, they could do, like, the Arrow thing. I mean, that would be great if they did that, but I don't know. I'm just not as excited as you, and I'm disappointed because I wanted to be as excited as you. But, I mean, even when the trailer came out for it, I mean, I wasn't that enthusiastic about it.
Well, hold on. I'll take that. I was skeptical, because the thing that, like, had me, like, nervous was, like, because I think he even said in the trailer, like, he hadn't been a superhero for, like a good while. So the thing that had me nervous was, like, wait, how are you just gonna throw this old man back into the saddle? And, like, but after watching the very first episode, I was like, oh no, this is no ordinary old man. Like, this dude.
Well, he's not old. Let's just
no, but, like, he had, like, I'll tell you what he had. He had, like, that Denzel Washington, Book of Eli type feel, where, like,
like, I agree with that.
Like, where you just knew, like, oh, this dude's blind and old, but he ain't to be played with.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
First of all, do you feel like it still fits into what CW's doing?
Definitely, like, shows? It fits right in with what they're doing, and I appreciate CW for their shows, because they're kind of really inclusive of, like, all cultures, all different types of people. So it's like a network where everybody can be included. So I really appreciate them for doing that. And it fits right in. It's kind of like, well, even you said it's kind of like an Arrow Flash mix, sort of, because there's, like, the dark and nitty gritty of Arrow, but you
have the superpowers.
The superpowers of Flash. So it's really, that part of it I like. And like I said, the show has really good bones. I think it has the potential to woo me, I guess, but it just hasn't wooed me yet.
Yeah, I think it. Well, I'll ask you the other. So you say that it fits in. Where do you think it fits in? Like, in your hierarchy of favorite shows right now on favorite DC shows on CW, where would you put it?
Oh, well,
after one episode, obviously that's
well,
that's
you know,
tall
Flash is my number 1, and Arrow is my number 1.5. I mean, you know, 1.5, yes, because they're so
like
close.
1.5. Okay, I'm like,
Yes.
what's 1.1 then?
Oh my god, what?
Well, that's how decimals work.
Oh my god, 1.5 then, okay, and then you know, I'm gonna put it above, you know, Legends of Tomorrow and Supergirl, just because, like, I want to see where it goes. And, you know, kind of with Legends of Tomorrow and Supergirl, I'm kind of just like, yeah, I know where it's going. So it's not as much fun watching it anymore. But yeah, I mean, I would put that second.
I would put it at third right now. I think Arrow is by far my favorite.
Yeah, I know Arrow's your favorite.
And then Flash, and then, I mean, it's early, but one episode in, Black Lightning has already kind of trumped DC Legends of Tomorrow and Supergirl.
Which we haven't watched in forever. We haven't watched those shows.
I'm not even going to lie to you. Supergirl has completely fallen off for me.
But you were skeptical about Supergirl from day 1.
Yeah, so I was impressed. I had such low expectations for season 1 that it managed to impress me. But season 2 has been a disappointment.
Aren't they on? Isn't this season 3, Miko?
No, this is season 2. Isn't it?
No, it's season 3. It's season 3.
Oh wow! So season 3 is terrible.
Yes, all right. There we go.
Season 2, I was starting to lose it. Yeah. Oh yeah, because I started losing it in season 2 after she
Yeah, because remember, season 1 was on CBS. Season 2.
Yeah, it was on CW.
Was on CW, so they're on season 3 now.
Yeah, I started losing it in season 2 when she kicked Jimmy to the curb.
Yeah, he didn't like that. I mean, I didn't like that either, but I was still.
When Kara kicked Jimmy Olsen to the curb for some random dude that fell out of the sky, I started hoping that she would get her heart broken. I'm so serious.
My husband is a savage.
Bro. Jimmy Olsen dropped a fine woman for you.
Hey, whoa. I mean, Kara is a very nice looking woman. Come on now.
She had nothing on Lois Lane's sister. Had nothing on her. She did not deserve Jimmy. Jimmy dropped his girl for her, and she dropped, like, not even. If you remember, it was the season finale. They were supposed to be together, and then episode 1 came about. She saw some random dude that fell from the sky, and she broke up with Jimmy. Like, essentially, she broke up with him in a day. Like, and I think so. What I appreciate, because I think Arrow, Flash, and Black Lightning, I think what they have in common is that dark, gloomy feel at times. Like, no matter how, like, Arrow is 5 seasons in now, 6, something like that.
5, 6,
and it's still a dark show. Like, Oliver gets no room to be happy.
Nope.
And even when he gets some form of happiness, like, you're not, like, convinced that he's happy.
I know.
And, like, the same thing with Barry. Barry gets so far into his happiness, but there's always that doom and gloom cloud. And I feel like in Supergirl, like, I feel like it's always sunny. And even when it's supposed to be sad, like, when it's sad, it's, like, pathetic type sad. It did not take long after, like, season 3 started and she was all boo-hoo over Mon-El, and I'm like, all right, yeah, get over it. Whereas Oliver has lost both parents. He's lost Laurel, and I'm never once.
Supergirl lost her parents.
I know, but do you understand? Like, do you see how backwards it is? Like, we're never once saying that, like, Oliver needs to get over it. Like, we never have that feeling.
Supergirl, I have some sympathy for you.
I have zero.
He has none. He has none. I'm sorry.
That's what you get. Carl got karma. That's what she got. That's what she's got.
So apparently this video was about Black Lightning and how Supergirl needs to get over it.
Oh, well, we will do another video on that because I am going
Okay, another video is coming so that Miko can rant just about Supergirl because I feel like he needs to get it off of his chest.
It's bad. It's just terrible. I think by, like, next year we'll be talking about Black Lightning kind of taking over, like, what? So right now, Supergirl's on Mondays. Right now, the way that it's slated, Supergirl's on Mondays. Flash and Black Lightning apparently are going to share Tuesdays.
Okay.
They have nothing on Wednesdays.
Isn't that Legends of Tomorrow?
No, I think Legends is sharing Thursday with Arrow.
See, when they changed it, they messed me up because they had one every day of the week, and now they're.
You can tell which shows that they like that they're kind of behind.
Yeah.
Like, because whichever one comes on earlier is the one that they're like, oh yeah, we expect people to watch this one. We don't really expect you to watch the other one. Black Lightning, I think, will either A, get its own Wednesday slot by next year, or it may take over Mondays, and Supergirl may get pushed to like the 9 p.m. slot, which I'd be fine with. Because I'm not watching it, so if I could watch Black, or at least you could trick me into watching it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing we didn't really talk about with Black Lightning. Another reason why I think it fits really well, so far, we don't know what universe he's in.
Yes,
we do not know if
he's... idea.
We have no idea if he's sharing a universe with Oliver and Barry. We have no idea if he's sharing a universe with Kara. He could be in a completely separate universe. They haven't explained that so far in the first episode. We do know there are. I want to
see a team up.
There's gonna be a team up because that's
what they do.
That's what DC does.
Oh, do you realize that he's gonna be in the next crossover movie?
You mean episode?
Whatever. They made Crisis on Earth X. It was supposed to be like a mini movie. So I'm right in saying movie because they kind of meant it to be like a movie.
Okay, well when it's only an hour long and it's...
Well, no, it was 3 hours because it was 3
No,
parts.
what I'm saying is when I have to wait the next time to watch it, that's not a movie. If I can't watch it in one sit down.
Technically we watched it all together because we waited.
Yeah,
but we want to get technical here.
But yeah, that's something that I think is another way that it fits in really well because, I mean, they can kind of feel that out. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it makes sense based on what things I've read about Black Lightning's history. Mm-hmm. It would make perfect sense for him and Oliver to probably meet up one day. So we're going to wrap this video up with our bold predictions. What do you either think will happen or are you hoping will happen? I know we kind of shared this one, so I'm going to let you go ahead and say it and I'll just...
Static Shock. Static Shock, Static Shock. Please introduce Static Shock. He knows that I've been wanting Static Shock to have his own TV show, but I will settle for him just being in Black Lightning because I'm really excited to see that. Really, 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 really excited.
Yeah, I think that's... So big picture, I think that'll be something that happens. I'll give it season 2.
I don't think it's gonna happen this season.
Based on what we saw and what I've heard so far about season, like what's the characters in this, there's already going to be 3 heroes.
3.
Black Lightning and his kids.
We didn't say.
Yeah, that Anissa is...
She's got some kind of powers.
Both of his kids do, but so far they've only kind of touched on Anissa. Anissa Pierce, a.k.a. Thunder. So she's already kind of going through her transformation. I'm interested in... That's another reason I want to see next week's episode, because I always think that's a little weird when stuff like... You broke your bathroom sink. Like,
I'm interested to see how that's going to go.
Right, like, that's not just...
You can't cover that up.
Yeah, people don't break sinks.
No.
I say we see Virgil... That we get introduced to Virgil in season 2. We probably don't get full on Static until season 3.
Well, I pray that it makes it that long because I need.
Because that's the other great thing about DC. Like DC has been really smart about another good thing that these shows have done is that they've allowed like these organic ways to introduce characters that people like, but you probably just wouldn't get them any other way.
Right.
Like, unless they did something like a Legends of Tomorrow.
Did you just have an idea?
All right, I'm changing my bold prediction. I'm gonna add a caveat. So I said caveat. So Virgil gets introduced in season 2.
Okay.
We get Static. Like, let's say he kind of gets his powers at the end of season 2. So we get Static in season 3.
Okay.
But he doesn't stay on Black Lightning. He goes to join the Legends of Tomorrow.
That would amp up Legends of Tomorrow. I'd actually watch it.
I would love that. But I think by adding Static to the Legends of Tomorrow, like you kind of get that replacement for Firestorm,
which I miss. I'm so upset about that.
I am too. Even though Jefferson was getting kind of fat.
Wow.
He was getting low-key fat on the show.
I was real unnecessary.
That was the one thing that I noticed when we finally like did watch those crossover episodes. You didn't notice that?
I mean, yeah, but it's nothing.
Alright, so no. Yeah, I think that'd be the perfect place for, because I think Static is gonna generate a following. If they introduce Static into Black Lightning,
Yes.
it would definitely make the show more popular, but I mean, I think I would end up watching the show like waiting for him to take over. And so I think in order to keep that from happening, you ship him over to Legends.
I agree. All right.
So yeah, that's been our breakdown of Black Lightning. Let us know what you guys.
Supergirl rant.
In a brief Supergirl rant. There will be a much more in-depth Supergirl rant in another video because I have serious issues with that show. But let us know, what you think about Black Lightning, our synopsis. If you've seen it, what did you think of it? Did maybe we convince you to check it out? Maybe it's something that you want to get a look at, and let us know your thoughts. Maybe if we get a good amount of feedback from you guys, maybe we'll do a week by week recap of every episode, and just you guys can kind of follow along with us and how we're feeling. Maybe Kalila's opinion of the show changes.
I hope so. I really do.
And yeah, a couple other things that we have coming up down the pipeline. We know we have promised you guys our Fantastic Four fan cast.
Yes.
That will be coming. We'll be taking that video and doing all of that probably this weekend. So you can definitely be on the lookout for that.
Yes.
And then one day I'm going to be selfish and I'm going to get on here and rant about Supergirl. Yeah. And Kalila will probably try and talk me off the edge on why it's not that bad. But
I am. And then, of course, we have Black Panther.
Yes, that'll be coming in February.
Yes. Who else is excited about that movie? Comment below.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
We won't be doing any trailer reactions because I refuse to watch any more trailers because I want the movie to be pure. I don't want to watch anything else.
He wants to be a purist, so I'm going to respect that and not do any reactions without him.
So, but I think that's pretty much it. Yep. I mean, I don't know, maybe we'll do like a video on Maze Runner. We go see that?
Yes.
Maybe
yes.
We will. We'll recap that.
I think we should.
So let us know what you guys think about the things that are coming down the pipeline. Like I said, let us know what you guys think about Black Lightning. If you've seen it, if you plan on watching it. We apologize if we spoiled anything. Alright, so yeah, that's it for us today. So make sure to
like, comment, share, and subscribe.
And we will see you guys next time we make a video.
Bye.